talked to Chad Sands at ECOG, he said sometimes those are an easy way to transition. So you get some places that are open for business in areas that are going to be attractive to current businesses. So I think, you know, what Kate and I really talked about over the last couple months is how do we make this not a daunting process for Benton County, but we make it an economic resource and a win for Benton County.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious what kind of businesses would have developed along Highway 30 if it was open. I mean, what are we missing out on?
So we get requests for proposals or RFPs occasionally, even RFIs, which is just information. One of the things that's happening with the expansion of the Highway 30 corridor, making that a 4-lane, there were some businesses that were interested in relocating there, but wanted to wait till the 4-lane was available, so it was easy access for either trucks or their employees. So small manufacturing firms are some of the ones that we get the most. We are one of the counties that has rail access, and that makes us very attractive. So, you know, I don't have specific names for you, but I can say a lot of the smaller manufacturing firms, especially that are under 50, 100 employees, would be a benefit to that. We could look at some of the larger, like, I know we've talked about the gas station phenomenon for forever, but something like that might be available then. And then again, the county then reaps the rewards of the taxation, and we're not looking at annexing them into certain communities.
Like, yeah, truck stop, you know, that's, and, you know, I can see there's no station, you know, between Cedar Rapids and Kane Middle. There's quite a stretch, and, you know, it might make some sense. But the other, you know, you talk about small manufacturing businesses, you know, they're waiting for Highway 30 to be 4-lane. Well, that's coming. I'm seeing it every day, but you know, just they don't have, you know, I guess I don't see a benefit, or I don't see what the benefit would be being right on Highway 30 of small manufacturing. It looks to me like rail service like in Georgetown or Bell's Plain or whatever, a couple miles off Highway 30 in a town that can provide services for them. Looks to me like that would be a better place for them to be. So it makes me question why is the need so high on Highway 30 besides the truck stop. I mean, it looks like a business would just as soon be someplace that supports it rather than out in the country.
Well, Highway 30 runs right through our county, and it allows us to be visible. You know, most of our communities are 3, 4, 5, 6 miles off of Highway 30, and so that allows Benton County to really be visible and then promote the growth, you know.
The businesses too, some of them have requested to not be in town. Whether it's because of their water use or how they, I don't know, there's all kinds of words that I could tell you from my sheet, but there are some that have requested to be out at least 5 to 10 miles outside of town. Well, 5 miles puts a lot of them on that Highway 30 corridor. And again, visibility for that business, being on that 4-lane gives them the opportunity to have some marketing that they won't have to do by just putting their sign up.
And it just transportation logistically, you know, hop on 30, you know, very quickly. I mean, you wouldn't think that sometimes that 5, 10 extra miles would be an issue, but in some cases it is an issue. So just to be able to pop right on and, you know, head where they need to go.
I think the mission in general through the years has been all for growth in Benton County. And the reason I think for not trying to develop our Highway 30 is because we've got so many other areas that need to be developed. I think there's probably not a town in Benton County that wouldn't accept having some growth in their town. I mean, you're talking about ghost towns, yeah. And the reason we have ghost towns is because we're taking the businesses out of those towns or around those towns and putting them out somewhere else. But I mean, Becca Park is undeveloped. It should be developed over Urbana. And there's no reason I can't see why there shouldn't be more businesses there. And you talk about a good road system. Couldn't ask for much better. And they also, you know, rail system is very important. It's large industry rail is important. You know, whether we like it or not, agriculture is still our #1 industry in Benton County and Iowa.
So, I have a question. You talked about if you developed along Highway 30, Benton County would get the money. Now, let me make sure I'm understanding this right and everyone else. So currently, if Vinton annexed more ground to locate a business, the city of Vinton would collect the taxes from that business and use that to support the infrastructure needed for the town and the business. But the town would also be responsible for the roadway to the business, the whatever needs they have and stuff, and not the county, because the Board of Supervisors in Benton County their only responsibility is all the unincorporated ground in Benton County, correct? Okay. I mean, there we kind of have the pendulum of will the new business provide enough tax benefit to offset the potential costs associated with having it?
So I think that the biggest thing that we looked at for the Highway 30 annexation or the 380 annexation areas was to make it available, so that we didn't have people coming in with their $500 to pay and then we had to say, sorry, right out of the gate. But we had a little bit more leniency in those two areas. We don't want,
We've never had a proposal down there other than brokers.
right.
No one's ever come to us and asked.
But I think some of the times they don't come is because it's not open, and they know that.
One of the things,
So, you know, and I mean, if you bring businesses in, your schools are gonna grow, you're gonna get young, Iowa is losing our young people terribly. I mean, I have 2 daughters that are gone now, and I have one that's still here. But, you know, you bring in these people, you bring in these jobs, good jobs, they pay taxes, your communities grow. I don't necessarily think it has to be, you know, and like you said, some of the businesses don't wanna be right in town. And I think with the businesses out in the country, I mean, you still, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the farmer still has to agree to sell the ground to begin with.
Absolutely.
Is that not
Ultimately,
true?
that's,
That's totally
it's
up
up,
to
it's
So
gonna
if
be up
you
to the
don't want it
farmer.
there, you don't sell it. And you have to also look at the, you know, the confinements and see where, are they a farmer's confinement or are they a corporate confinement? Where are they paying their taxes at? We're seeing everything vertically integrated, and the taxes are not staying in Benton County. They're going wherever these confinements, and I know we have confinements. I'm not totally against them. I don't want one myself because I think they're a lot of work, but, and we farm, but still, you have to progress or you're just gonna, you're not gonna survive.
Or the last one out, turn the light off.
That's
you know?
right.
I mean, that's kind
Well-
of where this is an opportunity we're posed with the 4-lane coming through. And this is an absolute opportunity that we need to capitalize on in order to grow our county.
And like I said, if you don't wanna sell it, you don't sell. A
Mhm.
farmer should have a right now we don't have a right
Right.
to sell off X amount, I mean, you know.
One of the things that you guys probably haven't had a chance to look at, maybe it's irrelevant, but different towns have different ordinances. So like Blairstown, for example, because I live in Blairstown, I kind of know that, it don't have many city ordinances. Newhall's got a bunch. Newhall's got a book like this thick. You can't hardly, well, you can't put groceries out on the street, literally, in Newhall. I mean, and it's somewhat irrelevant because you guys don't have any control over that. But there's a lot of things that are happening in these small towns that you don't have any effect over that change what's going on in the town.
I think the biggest thing, we just wanted to bring it to your attention from an economic development standpoint. That's, you know, that's our job, that's what we do for our county, is to look at opportunities for growth, for expansion, for business development, And we wanna make sure that it's easy to do business with Benton County. And when we look at the opportunities that are around, the last thing that we want to do is put ourselves in a position where we have somebody that really wants to come to Benton County, but then it's a land use policy or ordinance that makes it not available. And I'm not saying that that happens all the time, but I am saying that that's a possibility. And I hope that, you know, if nothing else comes of today, is that we at least review our ordinance and we, you know, like I said, bring it up to maybe today's standards and look at what opportunities we can make available for homeowners or business owners to bring growth to Benton County.
I'd like to ask one question about your water quality and sewers. If you develop along Highway 30, what's that gonna do to the water quality around the area if you bring a plant in that uses mega water or has 150 employees and you have to put in a sewer system out along Highway 30 someplace? What's that gonna do, Mark?
Well, the answer, there's more than one answer to your question, but typically, and I've had this happen in our office over the years. I don't know if anybody ever called BDG, but years ago, there's businesses that have called, and I kind of was of the understanding when they called that they wanted a site that was ready to build on.
Shovel ready, right?
Yeah, they wanted everything quote unquote shovel ready, and well, how are we gonna deal with the wastewater, and how are we gonna deal with your water needs? Couple of things that you need to be cognizant of. Some businesses are not certainly gonna be utilizing a septic system out in the county. As we all know, a septic tank and a drainage field, it's not gonna be that way. They're likely gonna have to go to the DNR and get a permit. And DNR permitting can be a very cumbersome, you talk about not easy.
3 years.
2 to 3 years to get a.
I'm familiar.
Yeah,
I
okay.
did it myself, so
Okay.
I'm familiar.
Okay,
Horrible.
Yes.
and then with the water, of course, then we get into this aspect of is it's going to be a public water supply, and if indeed they drill a well that, say they couldn't use rural water for whatever reason, if it's down that area, they might have access to it, and that'd be the sure thing, but say they couldn't. Well, then they're gonna get into the possibility of it being a public water supply, and of course there's testing criteria and all kinds of other, again, back to the DNR to deal with the permitting process. The other aspect of your question that could